Hello and welcome to Access Asia. I'm Yuka Huaye. Coming up in this edition, China remains defiant in the face of Donald Trump's steep tariffs, but how will the world's factory keep humming? We meet some exporters there. Bangladeshi students who played a major role in ousting ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina last summer have formed a political party, vowing to prevent any future authoritarian rule. And they flap their ears and squirt water from their trunks. Life-sized robotic elephants are being rolled out in India's Hindu temples as a cruelty-free alternative to the endangered animals. Changes unseen in a century are unfolding across the world. The words of Chinese Premier Li Qiang as he unveiled a slew of economic stimulus measures at the annual meeting of the National People's Congress. Beijing keeping its growth target at around 5% this year despite a new trade war with the United States. Donald Trump has slapped additional 20% tariffs on all Chinese imports, a measure that will hurt businesses on both sides. Companies in China are seeking ways to adapt. Our correspondents have been meeting some of them.
Guangdong province is China's top exporting hub, meaning this is one of the front lines of the US-China trade war. Wang Mingqing is the manager of a television screen factory.
Working hard, colleagues.
Since his return to the White House, US President Donald Trump has slapped a 20% levy on all Chinese goods. That comes on top of existing duties on a wide variety of products, including displays.
Now, US clients will only place orders based on actual demand, like when they have specific client orders instead of stockpiling as they used to. We've lost some of our American customer base.
Less than a third of Wang's clientele is American, down from 70% back in 2019 before the first round of Trump tariffs. In this industry, the future is no longer across the Pacific.
At present, the company's main business direction are markets in Southeast Asia, Central Asia and Africa. Our prediction for the future is mainly Russia or Ukraine, because they need to reconstruct after the war.
While some businesses turn to greener pastures, others aren't deterred by tariffs. 35 kilometers away, we visit the House of Sleep. The mattress company makes 10,000 pieces a month. 90% of it is shipped to the US. General Manager Wu Youxing explains that when it comes to tariffs, there are workarounds.
I hand over the goods from the factory to a third party who's responsible for shipping them to an overseas warehouse.
Wu works with logistics companies to export their products through Korea, Malaysia and Indonesia. In 2019, Washington already slapped steep duties on this industry, up to 1,700%. Despite the barriers, Chinese models dominate the US mattress market.
The US market and the US government are so resistant to Chinese goods because they're worried about the growing strength of everything that's made in China.
Wu may be confident in his product, but he still has a contingency plan. The House of Sleep is considering branching out to Germany or Australia should the US market become too complicated.
In Bangladesh, students who led last year's uprising that toppled the government has launched a new political party ahead of possible elections later this year. The National Citizens Party is led by 26-year-old Nahid Islam, who until recently served as an advisor to the interim government. It aims to challenge the political establishment and bring justice to the hundreds killed during the protests. Laurent Berstecker has the story.
A political party born on the streets of Bangladesh, launched by the very students who toppled Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina after 15 years in power.
Long live the revolution!
The Jatiya Nagarik Party, also known as the National Citizens Party, hopes to bring back free speech and fair elections to Bangladesh after decades of oppressive rule.
We want to get rid of the tainted history of the previous fascist regime, which spread corruption and terror across our country. That's why this new party was created.
Last summer's protests saw some of the worst violence in the country's history. At least 1,400 people were killed in clashes with security forces, and the National Citizens Party is now seeking to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Let us build a Bangladesh where every citizen's voice is represented, where justice and equal rights will be a fundamental part of politics, where equality and human dignity will become the foundation of the state.
26-year-old Nahid Islam was at the forefront of the student movement which toppled Prime Minister Hasina. He then served as an advisor in the country's interim government, led by Nobel Peace Prize winner Mohammed Yunus. Despite his young age and lack of experience, analysts say Nahid Islam's new party could become a force to be reckoned with in Bangladeshi politics.
They come into this, with a lot of legitimacy, a lot of credibility, and they're, some of them are household names. And so this is a unique moment, I think, in Bangladesh for a new political force to enter the arena. It's a different question, I guess, as to how successful they can be.
Bangladesh's interim government promised to hold free and fair elections by the end of the year, but the timeline was recently called into question by Nahid Islam himself, who said the country's volatile security situation and ailing institutions might make it impossible to hold a truly democratic vote.
The most populous nation on our planet is grappling with a growing health crisis. India has the world's highest obesity rate after the United States and China, with more than 135 million people being overweight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched a nationwide campaign to combat the epidemic. This report from our team in New Delhi.
In New Delhi, 11 fast food and full-service restaurants are within a 1-kilometer radius. The country's fast food market, valued at $18.6 billion in 2024, is set to nearly double by 2033. This boom is fueling an obesity epidemic, with India having the third highest percentage of obese citizens in the world. 17-year-old Javeria Sheikh weighs 92 kilograms. Over the past 2 years, she has experienced a dramatic weight gain.
I started craving sugar. I like to eat anything sweet. Waffles, cakes, chocolate, anything sweet. Sometimes my friends outside school joke about my weight, and I really feel bad about it. I don't know what happened.
Rapid urbanization, rising disposable income, and the growth of food delivery platforms are fueling the obesity crisis, leaving parents worried. After failing to lower her weight through various methods, Javeria and her mother have decided to see a doctor for a surgical consultation.
Hello.
For the past 22 years, Dr. Shashank Shah has been performing bariatric surgeries that help reduce food consumption by removing a part of the stomach.
10-20 years back, we used to do about 30 to 40 procedures a month. Now it is increasing to 80 to 90 procedures. Their obesity gives rise to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, or other diseases. It is probably unhealthy lifestyle, high calorie food, low activity, and I believe obesity is a major problem in India.
Dr. Shah has around 10 new patient consultations every day. The cost of over 4,000 euros deters many, but for people like Neeraj, it's a last resort. This 27-year-old weighs 120 kilograms and is about to undergo surgery.
I tried jogging, running, cycling, then even weightlifting, whatnot, diets, everything. I tried to do, went to the last possible level, but it wasn't helping me. So that is why surgery was the last hope.
The operation takes around 30 minutes and is performed under full anesthesia. It is meant to help Neeraj lose 35 kilograms in a year. But many are skeptical about weight loss surgeries, fearing weight gain will just occur over time. A few kilometers from the hospital, this wellness center attracts people from across India for traditional weight loss management and other medical conditions.
The new chemicals which are in the market, again, they are very good in results, but we don't know the long-term prospects of this particular drug. We don't know if they are going to be having a long-lasting effect, or similarly like bariatric, it will give you the lost weight will come back to you. We don't know.
With over 135 million overweight people in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged a nationwide effort to combat obesity, stressing a 10% cut in edible oil consumption.
And finally, they're trumpeted as an alternative to keeping elephants in captivity in India. New mechanical elephant replicas have been rolled out in Hindu temples, which activists say could eventually be used for ceremonies and processions. The models have been funded and donated by animal rights campaigners on the condition that temples move captive elephants to sanctuaries. Andrew Hillier has more.
These elephants may squirt water from their trunks and flap their ears. But look a little closer and you'll see that these life-size replicas are actually mechanical models. The model elephants have been touted as an alternative to keeping their real-life counterparts in captivity. Made from fiberglass and rubber, luxury versions include a nodding head, rolling eyes, and a lifelike tail. And they can cost more than $5,000 each.
We started it as artwork. You can see that we do more than just elephants. We just get a lot of orders for elephants. Even though we didn't intend to save elephants, now we are, and we're happy about it.
The models are funded by the Indian branch of People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. They're then donated to Hindu temples on the condition that captive elephants are moved to approved sanctuaries. It's common to see elephants held in captivity in India. They're used for religious ceremonies and processions, but loud music, large crowds and flashing lights often spook the animals.
When it's a real elephant, there's fear amongst us. What if it runs amok? Since it's a robotic elephant, we feel much safer. And we are able to celebrate our festivals while staying much calmer.
According to animal rights campaigners, less than 50,000 Asian elephants are left in the wild. Activists say the mechanical models could help stave off the threat of extinction for real elephants.
That's all for this edition of Access Asia. Thanks for watching France 24, but please do stay tuned if you can. There's more world news coming up.